Rapper Gucci Mane was allegedly robbed and kidnapped by other rappers? So as the Department of Justice puts it in their release statement, quote, this week, 9 individuals, including well-known musical artists, were federally charged for kidnapping and robbing at gunpoint numerous victims at a music studio in Dallas, Texas, announced United States Attorney for the Northern District of Texas, Ryan Raybould. 8 of the 9 were arrested in Dallas, Texas, and Memphis, Tennessee. The charged defendants include Lontrell Williams Jr., a.k.a. Pooh Shiesty, Lontrell Williams Sr., Rodney Wright Jr., a.k.a. Big 30, Kadarius Waters, Terrence Rogers, Demarion Gibson, DeMarcus Glover, Corday Johnson, Darian McDaniel. Actually, by the way, there was a press conference held yesterday, and I want you to listen to that moment where they talk about that one person who was missing in this, right? So there's people who's charged, but not everybody had been arrested. So this is United States Attorney for the Northern District of Texas, Ryan Raybould.
One of the individuals that's been charged has not had his initial appearance yet, but agents are actively working to locate and bring him to court.
And I wanted to touch on that, actually. Eric Bushman with KRLD. Since there's one person you're still trying to get to come in, I guess it's under arrest because it's initial appearance. You said that you're trying to work out. Because you're going public with this, are you afraid at all that that's going to hinder and eventually getting an individual in?
Agents are working to find him. The complaint has already been unsealed, and a number of these defendants have had their public hearing already, their initial appearance, and so it's already out there that this individual has been charged. And so that information is in the public record. But I trust that the agents will be able to identify this person and find them and bring them to justice. Of course, that person can turn themselves in immediately.
And I have a 32-page criminal complaint that was filed in the United States District Court for the Northern District of Texas that I'm going to break down for you as simply as possible. I want you to know the allegations, the potential evidence, the parties, okay? Gives you an idea about what this case is about. And I got to say this before I even get into it. You're going to understand after I go through this why these individuals were arrested in light of this alleged evidence, but all of them are innocent until proven guilty. I got to say that because, again, you're going to listen to this and you might be saying, wow, the evidence against them is arguably really bad, but nothing has been proven as of yet. Okay, with that caveat, let's get into it. So this is an affidavit. It is a sworn statement from an FBI special agent in support of a criminal complaint. And this is the statement of probable cause that crimes were committed, okay? It starts by claiming that on January 10th, 2026, the victims, who are only identified by initials, by the way, and they include RD, which we have to assume is Gucci Mane because his real name is Radrick Davis. They say they were robbed and kidnapped at gunpoint at a music studio in Dallas, Texas. Now, there was apparently a scheduled meeting between RD and suspect Lontrell Williams Jr. And apparently, this hip-hop artist is known as Pooh Shiesty, and he was reportedly signed to RD's record label 1017 Records. Now, this meeting was reportedly about a contract dispute. This is, again, according to prosecutors. And it seems that Williams Jr. wanted out. So the affidavit claims that when RD and the other alleged victims in this case and others go into this office building, they realize it's closed. So Williams Sr., this is apparently Williams Jr.'s father, was apparently trying to book a recording studio that day for his son and for RD to record music. Williams Sr. was apparently talking to this unidentified individual just known as JN, another player in this, who owns the studio. It's inside this office building. So now you get the geography, what we're talking about here. So the affidavit includes apparent stills from surveillance footage that arguably shows Williams Sr. speaking to someone on the phone outside the building. I'm going to give you a little preview here. There are a lot of stills in this criminal complaint. And by the way, that helps corroborate the details. It helps corroborate the timeline. It helps corroborate the events that are laid out when you have purportedly time-stamped stills of this surveillance video. Now, an assistant reportedly arrives to help with production at 3:39 p.m. that day, and the affidavit claims that this father and son duo, the Williams, is arguing with somebody on the phone, okay? They're arguing. And I'm going to read you this verbatim. Quote, at approximately 3:43 p.m., Williams Jr. and Williams Sr., Wright, Johnson, Waters, Rogers, Gibson, Glover, and McDaniel entered the east side of the office building. The target suspects walk through the lobby area of the office building before going inside the studio. One individual with a dreadlock hairstyle, later identified as Gibson, can be seen on video exiting the office building and shortly thereafter returning with a bag slung over his shoulder. Again, embedded in this complaint are the apparent surveillance stills, okay? Now, the affidavit claims they go into the studio.
They got video surveillance of these guys in the studio. They got evidence of the guys doing what they did. And they tried to do this to get out of Pooh Shiesty tried to do this to get out of his contract. But he ain't think, man, let me just sign this nigga's name. If this situation was all over, Gucci Mane's name being on a document, nobody was smart enough to say, man, we could just sign the damn document ourselves. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. Hey, listen, young and slow.
Where the victims were, the alleged victims were, and there are stills, by the way. They included the studio lobby, the control room, the recording room. And at one point, it is alleged that Williams Jr., who was, by the way, I was blown away by this detail, was allegedly wearing an ankle monitor, okay, goes to speak to RD privately about the contract. I'll talk about the ankle monitor in a second. But there is allegedly an argument, and it ends up with Williams Jr. being accused of taking out a black AK-style pistol and pointing it at RD, allegedly demanding he sign the contract release paperwork. Now, RD allegedly complied, signed it. Again, we're assuming this is Gucci Mane. And there was the claim that RD, seemingly Gucci Mane, was not allowed to leave as he was being held at gunpoint. There are allegations that Wright allegedly recorded RD signing the paperwork and being forced to say he released Williams Jr. from the contract. And then afterwards, it's alleged that Williams Jr. took RD's wedding ring and watch and earrings and cash. I do wonder if they have that video. Okay, I do wonder if they have that. But I'm going to read you verbatim again from the complaint. Waters, Rogers, Johnson.
So, Pooh Shiesty, and they're specifically saying Pooh Shiesty took Gucci Mane's watch, wedding ring. Like, come on, man. You robbed him, man. So you didn't just want Gucci Mane to sign the paperwork to get you out the contract. You robbed him. You wanted to say, yeah, I robbed him too. Straight foolish. Yeah. Whatever Pooh Shiesty get, he deserves it. You robbed this man to say you robbed him. You wanted to say, yeah, I robbed Gucci. I made him sign the contract. When you do got other people there, like, come on, man. All because you wanted to get out the contract when you could have just said, yo, man, we ain't even got to go meet this nigga. We going to sign his name ourselves and act like we had a meeting. This the mind frame, though.
Glover, McDaniel, and Gibson produced handguns or AR-AK-style pistols and began to demand property from BP and MM. BP was pushed onto a couch in the control room while an individual known to BP as CMO Dam Pooh and part of Williams Jr.'s crew searched his pockets and stole his wallet. BP's chain and a necklace were stolen from his neck. McDaniel threatened to shoot BP for moving, but Williams Jr. instructed McDaniel not to. MM was choked from behind to the point of nearly losing consciousness during the kidnapping and robbery, resulting in scratches on his neck and wrist. Now, embedded in the complaint are what appear to be photos seemingly showing cuts or abrasions on MM's neck and wrist, and there is a claim that his wallet and watches and a Louis Vuitton bag and headphones were stolen. And if you're wondering about the security, right, didn't they have security with him? Well, the claim is that the victim's security realized they were outnumbered and outgunned. Goes on to say, quote, RD was pushed onto the couch in the control room. Again, we're talking seemingly about Gucci Mane, causing the victims to believe they were going to be executed. Williams Jr. placed the barrel of a firearm to the back of BP's head and ordered him and RD to leave the control room in the studio through the west entrance of the office building. RD then instructed CW and TD to escort them to their vehicle. As the victims left, MM turned to Williams Jr. and asked him if they were really taking his watches. Based on later recovered surveillance video footage, the target suspects left the studio and the office building through the east entrance at approximately 4:48 p.m. And from there, the affidavit lays out the photos of the alleged suspects purportedly leaving the building and also the cars that were believed to be connected to them traveling northbound.
Do you hear the details that they got? They got the details. So, of course, Gucci Mane made a statement. Of course, everybody that was a victim in the situation made a statement because they have all the details. What Pooh Shiesty did, what he said, everything. Come on, man. On house arrest? Come on, man. Come on, man. Listen, man. If the bull had brains, Pooh Shiesty would be dangerous.
Now, how did they find the alleged suspects? So this is really interesting. We're going to start with vehicle identification. So the affidavit claims that Wright's father owns a 2020 Dodge Charger Hellcat with Tennessee plates. The authorities apparently use license plate readers to track the Charger following another car, a Dodge Ram. We're talking about 2:18 p.m. on January 10th. And they claim that that Dodge Ram looks like the one on surveillance video near the crime scene later that afternoon. They apparently used license plate readers to also link the Charger traveling very close to a white Buick Enclave, and using rental records, they determined that the Enclave was rented by Williams Sr. Let's go to electronic location monitoring. Remember when I said the ankle monitor for Williams Jr.? Well, apparently, he was serving a sentence for federal drug and weapons charges. Home detention, had to wear an electronic monitoring device. So they're able to use location data from that device to seemingly track his apparent movements near the crime scene. And then the affidavit claims that Williams Sr. and Williams Jr. went to a Staples store earlier in the day. Why? The allegation is to print off the contractual release paperwork, which again was a key part of this whole alleged dispute and incident. Now, the feds say surveillance video and GPS data put them there. Cell phone records. You know these are always key in a criminal investigation, right?
Yo, they went to Staples to print out the contract. Like, they thought that they were going to get away with this. You know, it's too much technology in today's world. They tracked the tags. They tracked every movement from surveillance cameras. This is what they've been doing for the last 2 months. This right here. For the last 2 months, they've been making sure they stop at every location so that they got the evidence of everything they did. Come on, man. You gotta be smarter than this. Like, hold up. They just putting anybody on, man. They just putting anybody on. Like, come on, man.
Right? I'm going to read you verbatim what it says. Stay with me. This is a big part. Investigators obtained cell phone records for Williams Jr., Williams Sr., Wright, Johnson, Waters, Rogers, and Gibson, and telematics location data and records for the Dodge Charger Hellcat and the Dodge Ram. Records indicate Wright, Johnson, Waters, Rogers, and Gibson traveled together from Memphis, Tennessee to Dallas, Texas in the Dodge Charger Hellcat and the Dodge Ram. They left Memphis on January 8th, 2026 and arrived in Dallas in the early morning hours of January 9th, 2026. The data from Glover's electronic monitoring device aligns with these cell phone records. On January 10th, 2026, from approximately 2:28 p.m. to approximately 2:46 p.m., Williams Jr., Williams Sr., Wright, Johnson, Waters, Rogers, Gibson, the Dodge Charger Hellcat, and the Dodge Ram were in the area of the Windrose Tower, a location Williams Jr. resided prior to moving. They all traveled together to the area of a fence location, meaning the crime scene, arriving at approximately 3 p.m. The data from Williams Jr.'s electronic monitoring device and location information for the Buick Enclave align with the cell phone records. Williams Jr., Williams Sr., Wright, Waters, Rogers, Gibson, the Dodge Charger Hellcat, and the Dodge Ram traveled together from the area of the offense location, leaving at approximately 4:50 p.m. to the area of the Star in Frisco, Texas, arriving at approximately 5:07 p.m. Look how exact this is. Williams Jr., Williams Sr., Wright, Johnson, Waters, Rogers, and Gibson utilized towers with coverage that includes the Star until approximately 9:30 p.m. The data from Williams Jr.'s electronic monitoring device and location information for the Buick Enclave aligned with the cell phone records. Wright, Johnson, Waters, Rogers, Gibson, the Dodge Charger Hellcat, and the Dodge Ram, I have to keep repeating it because I think it's important that you identify the different parties here and the different sources of location, traveled together from the area of the Star in Frisco to the area of the Comfort Inn, where they remained overnight. Williams Jr. and Williams Sr. remained in the area of the Star overnight. Goes on to say, cell phone records indicate that on January 13, 2026, Wright, Johnson, and Waters traveled together with the Dodge Ram from Dallas, Texas to Memphis, Tennessee. So, if these allegations are true, you are seeing firsthand in detail how difficult it is in 2026 in an urban environment to commit a crime and not be tracked. This is a digital world, digital prosecution, and it can be very tough for defense attorneys to argue against the reliability of this data.
Pooh Shiesty's attorney, right? He gonna lie to Pooh Shiesty and tell Pooh Shiesty that he got a shot so he can get a bag. That's it. Yeah, we gonna fight this case, right? So he can get some money. Because with this information right here, I don't care what nobody say. They don't have a shot. It's too much details about what happened. And it's graphic detail about him putting the strap to the back of Gucci head, execution style. It's too much direct evidence for him to have a shot. That's crazy. You know, ain't no amount of money worth it. None. Because the more money you put out, right, the less chance that it's gonna be successful. And I wonder why they ain't understand this yet. The more money you try to put out to do something like this, the less chance it's gonna be successful. People are gonna talk. It's too much chitter chatter. It's too much of the chitter chatter right now. Pooh Shiesty played himself. That's a fact.
If you're combining different forms of data, cell phone with surveillance, with GPS monitoring, right? But you heard the Comfort Inn, by the way, according to the affidavit. The Comfort Inn records confirm, or allegedly confirm, that Gibson paid for 4 rooms at the hotel. So now you have financial records, documentation. Investigators reviewed surveillance footage from the Comfort Inn and observed Wright, Johnson, Waters, Rogers, Gibson, Glover, McDaniel inside the Comfort Inn, all clad in clothing similar to what the suspects in the kidnapping and robbery appeared to be wearing. And in the affidavit are literal side-by-side comparisons of the alleged players, what they were seemingly wearing at the crime scene versus what they were seemingly wearing at the Comfort Inn. Again, all allegations, but you see why this is building up. Now, there's also a section about how investigators found prints. So we're talking fingerprints, latent prints, of Gibson and Rogers on these red Solo cups too that were apparently left at the crime scene. We move on to social media. This one's next level, okay? So apparently investigators compare the descriptions of Williams Jr. from the victims, like how they described him, to an Instagram account at Pooh Shiesty. And investigators say it shows a match. And they end up doing that for Williams Sr. and Wright and Waters, and how even there are photos apparently of them together online, and how they even match state IDs with these accounts too. And I got to call out Rogers here. Quote, On surveillance footage from the offense location, the individual believed to be Rogers can be seen exiting the building carrying what appears to be the Louis Vuitton bag MM reportedly stolen. On January 15, 2026, so just a few days later, Rogers posted a video on @DamnFool375 showing him wearing a Rolex GMT Master 2 with an oyster steel band that appears visually similar to the watch stolen from MM, who provided investigators with photographs, a receipt, and the serial number for the stolen watch.
His Instagram name @DamnFool was right. That was a good Instagram name that he came up with. @DamnFool. Because that was him. The bull posted the damn evidence right after. Like, come on, man. Everybody now knows that this is the first thing they gonna do is look at your Instagram if something go down. And if you involved with something, why would you post what the hell you stole from these people on Instagram in 2026? Come on, man. @DamnFool was definitely a good Instagram. He picked a good name.
Additional posts on @DamnFool375 show Rogers wearing shoes similar to those he wore during the offense. And they embed photos allegedly showing this too. From Glover's Instagram, here's a sample. January 11th, 2026, a story featuring a large amount of cash, a Rolex visually similar to the one stolen from MM, and a location tag of Dallas, Texas. January 17th, 2026. A story showing Glover with a Rolex that appears identical to the one stolen from MM, stating he got a new rope, believed to be slang for watches or necklaces. January 19th, 2026, videos of Glover wearing a necklace with a 1017 pendant that appears identical to the one stolen from BP. So the allegation being you didn't only steal all this, you flaunted it. Now, defense attorneys would say not the same necklace, they own this. These are kind of rare items, though, particularly talking about that Rolex. And I'm sure they could have a dispute about whether or not these items were actually stolen or not. But again, timing, circumstances, the potential rarity of these items, something to keep in mind. Innocent until proven guilty, problematic. Now, something else that I have to note that may be used as evidence later on. So when you apparently go to these guys' like Instagram pages, from what I could see, they're pretty much scrubbed. They might have a couple posts still up, but that appears to be it. You know, Shiesty still has a lot on it, so it's kind of hard to tell if stuff is gone from that. But if prosecutors can prove that they deleted stuff to potentially destroy evidence or try to hide from authorities, that will be interesting. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe it was deleted after their arrest for some reason.
This why you can't hang around niggas. Straight up. This why you got to stay far away from niggas. Yeah, mind frame. And you got people that are agreeing with this shit. You got dudes that agree with Pooh Shiesty and these small-minded individuals have done. Man, that shit don't even make no sense. Hey, hold up, man. That shit don't make no sense. Yeah, man, I come from the streets. I don't want nothing to do with no street shit. Nigga, I'm 40 plus years old. Fuck I look like supporting what the fuck go on in the streets at 40 plus years old. I sit here and lay back with my feet up like a grown man. What I look like supporting this goofy shit. Some shit that's going to lay these jokers down for 30 years. What I look like supporting this? Like, come on, man. That shit don't even make no sense. Man, them dudes is an embarrassment to black people. Straight up. Pooh Shiesty, Big 30, all them jokers is embarrassment to black people. They embarrass the culture. That's all they do. Nigga, if you gonna go do some street shit, go do it in the street where they don't care about us at. Nigga, you messing with some business people. Gucci Man tied to business people at this point. Whatever he did back then, that was back then. That nigga's tied to business people. Man, listen. They're going to allow you to do certain things if it affects the inside of the community. They're going to allow you to do that. That's a fact. But understanding that they say it was a off-duty cop that was Gucci Mane's security, when we all know that when niggas get to certain level, they hire off-duty cops, off-duty FBI agents to be their security. Why would you do that? That shit don't even make no sense. If we being real. So, I don't support this shit. Straight up. I don't support nothing what these dudes did. Nigga, we grown men. Fuck, we thinking little kids, teenagers, trying to get respect from some old other niggas when you don't have the understanding how it's going to destroy you. Like, come on, man. Nobody got no respect for this shit. Pooh, Shiesty, Big 30, they slow. Straight up. Slow. Big 30 already know his money funny. He know he broke. Nigga, why you out here doing goofy shit when you know you ain't got no damn money? Straight up. And when you locked up in a situation like this, right? Pooh Shiesty can't help you. Pooh Shiesty can't pay for your lawyer. Pooh Shiesty in a situation with you. He can't pay for your damn attorney. So, man, that shit is goofy. Man, these boys embarrassed the culture. Straight up. They embarrassed the culture, man. Y'all got an opportunity to be in position, be on, do your thing, and y'all looking crazy. Any black man with common sense don't respect this. Now, you got some rappers that want to be respected by hood niggas. I don't want to be respected by no hood niggas. And that's a fact. If you a hood nigga, I don't want you to respect me, nigga. Understand I came from the streets. I ain't glorifying that shit like I ain't seen every nigga that was out there playing heavy in the game fail. Nigga, I know niggas doing life. I know niggas doing 50, 30. Niggas that had bricks locked the fuck up. Nigga, that shit ain't cool. All them niggas right now begging to get that time back. Straight up. Them niggas is begging to get a time back. They wish that they could give the fucking time back. Doing an elbow, asking a nigga to send him some fucking money. Nigga on the street got all the fucking bricks. Now he broke. Begging a nigga to send him something. Nigga had all the bricks. Now they take everything from you and you begging somebody else to send you something. Come on, man. No way niggas should be glorifying this shit. Everybody should be calling Pooh Shiesty what he is. Lame. Come on, bro. Everybody. Like, come on, man. What is he doing? Like, you couldn't figure out another way to play this game? Just like I said, the best way. This how you know he ain't got no solid-minded jokers in his camp. They was all followers. Somebody in the camp should have been like, hey, yo, Pooh, man, I signed a nigga name. Give it here. Where your old contract at, nigga? I'ma sign it. Because if you went there just to get his signature, you could have did that yourself without even putting your life in jeopardy for a long sentence. Come on, man. Like, let's Make it make sense, man. And you got street niggas saying, oh, they should have kept it in the street. What? You trying to get a legal signature, right? You want the business signature, right? Come on, man. This is why our people so slow. They think this shit was solid. Shit's goofy.
Reason or after the charges, I don't really know, but it's something I've noticed. And then in this paperwork, they do something that I think is really interesting, and I'll just say kind of refreshing, because in this criminal complaint, at least for my analysis purposes, they really list out the evidence against each defendant very clearly. So for example, Lontrell Williams Jr., eyewitness accounts state that Williams Jr. brought RD into the recording studio and demanded that RD sign the release contract at gunpoint before taking RD's wedding ring, watch, earrings, and cash. Eyewitness accounts also place Williams Jr. in the room when the additional kidnapping and robberies of MM and BP occurred. Cell phone records, electronic location monitoring, and surveillance footage place Williams Jr. at the offense location. Electronic location monitoring data also places Williams Jr. at a Staples location with his father, believed to be printing the termination contract prior to arriving at the offense location. And
do you hear the details in this shit? Do you hear the details? Nigga on house arrest. You on house arrest, bro. Man, Pooh Shiesty deserves to get the longest sentence they could give him. Straight up, man. You on house arrest. You ain't even wait to finish your sentence. Like, come on, bro. Like, come on, man. What person does this, though? You ain't even wait for your sentence to get finished. You ain't even wait to say, oh, I'm on probation. I'm ready to spaz out. I got room for a case. Nigga, you ain't got no damn room for no case. Man, this was straight a small-minded black man that had an opportunity and he blew it because he's slow. Ain't nobody supporting this shit. Man, y'all niggas would never hear me come on the internet and brag about no street shit when you know you supposed to know better at the time. Niggas got past. Okay, cool. You gonna talk about your past? Ain't no way at this point in my life when some current shit happens of an adult that I'm gonna say, yeah, he did the right thing in the streets. Nigga, we supposed to be saying how we gonna get out the street. Niggas is hustling, risking their life to get out the street. Ain't no way you supposed to make it to making millions to want to be in the streets. Miss me with that. Nah, that ain't my mindset. I ain't make it this far. Even when I was in the streets, I was thinking business. I ain't gonna mix the street with my business. I understand that shit ain't gonna go well. Come on, man. Wake up, man. What's wrong with people? What's wrong with people, man? Stop, man. Pooh Shiesty played himself all the way out of position for a signature that one of his homies could have forged, and it wouldn't even have been like he did it. Now you got to fight in court. I ain't signed nothing. I sent my homie to go get the paperwork. He got the shit signed. I ain't signed shit. He told me Gucci Man signed it. Not, I'm going to hold the nigga at gunpoint and say, you going to sign this. Man, you got to be stupid. Straight up.
They do this again for every one of the defendants, and then it goes on to say, based on the facts set forth above, there is probable cause to believe that on January 10th, 2026, in the Dallas Division of the Northern District of Texas, DeMarcus Glover, Demarion Gibson, Corday Johnson, Darian McDaniel, Terrence Rogers, Kadarius Waters, Lontrell Williams Jr., Lontrell Williams Sr., and Rodney Wright Jr. conspired to and committed kidnapping in violation of 18 USC 1201 A and C. By the way, when you hear like that they're together in the same room while there's other robberies going on, that's the agreement, right? Conspiracy is an agreement to commit a crime, and what were the overt steps taken in furtherance of that agreement. And my understanding, if convicted, Each defendant faces a sentence of up to life imprisonment. This is again according to the DOJ. I mentioned this before, I'll mention it again. There was a press conference that was held, and it happened yesterday. I want to play you some more sound from it, okay? It fills in some of the details. And again, this is the United States attorney when asked about the victims, and I think it's interesting what he says.
This case really underscores the importance of standing up for crime victims, no matter who they are or where they come from. And the incredible collaborative investigative partnerships that we have, not only in the Northern District of Texas, but across the country. And we are all working together to make our country safer. As far as victims go, we won't get into at this time who the victims are or not. I'm not going to get into the victim stuff at this time. I think that more will be coming out there that will help clarify, but I'm not at liberty at this stage of the investigation to disclose that.
Yeah, so at the time of this recording, authorities haven't come out and absolutely said this allegedly happened to Gucci Mane. There are protections of victims in every state and every prosecution, so you have to keep that in mind. But you know how I mentioned the evidence, right? This is the U.S. attorney talking about that evidence and the punishment.
That was one of the reasons I wanted to list off some of the evidence that has been uncovered to date. A lot of this was subpoena work, search warrant work, and things like that in order to develop the investigation. And so the agents here with me, the agents out in the field, it takes a little bit of time to identify who did this offense and build a case so that we feel comfortable bringing the charges. So actually that's pretty quickly for a federal case of this gravity and this nature. And so I'm very proud of the investigative work and it will continue from this office as well as our FBI and our local police department.
If you think Gucci Mane didn't have insurance on his watch, ring, and his earring, you got to be crazy. If you think that Gucci Mane wasn't going to file a claim, an insurance claim for the things that he was robbed for, you got to be crazy. That's why you got insurance on it. And when you file an insurance claim, you got to make the police report. So we already know Gucci made a statement in the situation. Man, it's a different ball game. Straight up. It's a different ball game. When you make it from the streets, you can't keep playing with the streets. This why the niggas that got 100 bricks like Meech, right, do 30 years. Because Meech could have stopped when he got his first 100 bricks off. He had to keep doing more. He needed another 100 bricks. Niggas in the street make it to a certain level, but they can't stop. And what happens? They cook them every single time. You got to know when to stop. Shit. Yeah, I understand people got to feed themselves. I understand that. But damn, the goal is to make it to a level where as though you're able to feed yourself. The goal ain't to make it to a certain level and continue to do goofy shit. That ain't the goal, man.
If convicted of these charges, the arrests, how serious are these crimes? What's up with these people?
They're facing a range. So there's no mandatory minimum in this case. It's a range of punishment and it'll be in the province of the judge, whoever gets the case. But it could be from 0 all the way to life imprisonment. And as you know, a lot of what will guide what's called the sentencing guidelines will be the individual's previous criminal history, the fact that one of these individuals committed the offense while on home confinement, so actually serving a federal offense, assuming that individual is convicted, that will be an aggravating factor for sure.
Big case, big developments, big evidence. We'll continue to monitor what happens next.
Hey, listen. I'm going to say it like this, right? Just keeping it a buck. Whatever Gucci did, right, in the situation with Deezy, that's what happened. But that don't mean that you got to still live the same mindset. And I'm just calling it how it is. I don't feel sorry for nobody. But if a nigga say you robbed him in a business meeting because he ain't signed the signature, nigga, if that nigga say something on you, hey, you gotta deal with that. Understanding this is a different world. This ain't 1996. This ain't 96. And it's 2026. You know, a lot of times people jeopardize certain things because they get upset. All right, man, I'm ready to go do this shit. Hey, man, you got, listen. You think Gucci want to leave Keisha? It's what nigga got to understand, right? You think Gucci want to leave Keisha? What? You think he want to go sit down again and have somebody jumping all over Keisha? And he in position and he ain't got to risk it? Hey, I'm just saying, this how the game go. And it go like that even with niggas out there hustling in the street, selling work. Nigga get caught with some work. You think they want to leave? Tierra, they don't want to go to jail, and Tierra out there getting that back blown out. It's a game, you know? But this is what people got to understand. It's a different time. It's a different time. Gucci did what he did then. He got lucky. Ain't nobody snitch on him. If somebody would have told on Gucci, if French Montana would have told when Gucci ran out the back door with the 5 stacks, I would have said he got what he deserved. Hey, it's a part of the game. So now, Pooh Shiesty did what he did. I'm not in agreement with that shit. You know, I'm doing legit business. I ain't doing no street shit. And I ain't gonna act like I'm doing street shit. I'm in here doing legit business. Why would I want to play with the street? I don't care what I did. I don't care who I got at in the street. I don't care what kind of beef I had in the street. I don't care how active I got in the street. I'm doing business now. When I was in the street, I played the street. I played the street. I'm doing business. Don't come play with me on no street shit. I'm doing business. And I ain't gonna let nobody trick me out of my spot. Not at all. My spot of having peace and my spot of having freedom. Nah, not letting nobody get me there.